Hello, and welcome to Gaia Blooming GPS. This is where we come and pull the cards for the Astro week ahead. I am Mimi, and I'm here with Nicole Oman.
Hi.
And we are going to just dive in. We've got a pretty quiet week with the only major shift being a sun shift. The sun moving from Capricorn into Aquarius. That's always an interesting kind of shift. But we're going to kick off this week with the moon moving into Libra. And so the moon is shifting into Libra tomorrow. Is it morning? Yeah, tomorrow morning. And I've got some interesting cards for this moon in Libra. So I'm going to start with these three cards. I've got from the archetype deck, I have the bully card. I've got the politics card in reverse. And then I've got the speak your truth card. And, you know, Nikki and I always get together and like chat beforehand. And, you know, I've had some interesting experiences this week where in the name of speaking truth, somebody's come off as a bully, you know, and one of the things that's been really up for me is like being in my truth, being in my integrity, being in my light. That's always my thing, but like really taking it to another level. I am one of those people that I always say not to be with Libra, like don't create harmony outside of yourself, but rather find that harmony within yourself and then let that harmony outside of yourself come and happen. I've been like, but I got to keep the peace out there. I've got to keep the peace out there. I've got to keep the peace out there. And something I've been working with, moving away from. And I think this is a big part of this moon in Libra energy is, you know, finding that way to speak your truth, not in a way that's making you a bully, but taking off that mask, being like, hey, this is who I am, you know, like it or not. And one of the big messages that had come through recently for me is like, I can't be true to you unless I'm being true to myself. And so I think this is what we're being asked to do as we finish up this Capricorn. Sun in Capricorn can also like care about how the world sees them. Sun in Capricorn can be like, I'm going to put on this mask because I want the world to see that I'm large and in charge. I've got myself figured out. It's like, no, you don't have to put on that mask. Know who you are. You are this divine light. You are this creator. And it's okay for you to speak your truth. It's okay for you to stand in your light. It's okay for you to show up as you are. And so I think sometimes I am not going to even put this on you. I think sometimes it's hard because like when you have to stand in that truth, it can make you feel like that bully. If you have to say, this isn't working for me. This isn't in alignment with me. That can feel bad, but it's like, speak your truth. Honor who you are. The bully attributes is like, highlights your tendency to intimidate others and helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. But I think it's also that light is like, hey, knowing how to stand in your truth and say what you have to say without thinking that you're being a bully, you know, like without thinking that it's bad for you to say, this is not serving me, you know, knowing when to put that boundary in. The shadow attribute conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. And it may be that you're one of the people like me who's been creating this outer harmony that has to put this foot down because there's been some energy behind others' words to you. Speak your truth. Archangel Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel, for helping me to speak with integrity. Hold your integrity. Hold your light. And look who I have here. You don't have just one angel. You've got, where is it? You've got two angels. This guidance, your guide, your inner guidance, your inner light, and your outer support is helping you in this energy. So as we finish up Capricorn, finishing up this structure for, you know, the rest of 2017 in this Capricorn manner, set this structure of being true to yourself, true to your light, taking off that mask, and speaking your truth. Nicole?
So I have very similar cards, and I know an interesting perspective is coming up for me through this, and it's something also me and Mimi talked about, but let's go into the cards and see what blossoms and unfolds naturally in the message. So the cards that I'm getting, I have in the past card, I have the isolation card, or this can be, especially in the regular tarot, when I see the Three of Swords, I see a betrayal. I see a wounding. And then I have the friendship card in reverse in the present. So this might be from a friend in the past. It might, but it's coming up again. So it could be in directly happening to you right now, like Mimi, or somebody in your past. They might not even be coming up physically, but you might have thought about them, or a dream has happened and you're like, ugh, why did they come up again? Why did I get a vision of them? Or why did I get something on my Facebook feed, or whatever it is from that person? So what I'm getting here is that there's a little bit of unfinished business. So I have the completion card in reverse underneath it all. But the unfinished business may not be with them. It's more with the wound. It's more with the sword that's still stuck in the heart. The betrayal and what the isolation of that betrayal has occurred. Because when we are wounded by someone, what happens is we start to shut our heart from other friends. We start to shut our heart from other relationships. And we start to shut our heart from other people because we don't trust somebody else because we were betrayed in the past. So what I'm getting, I have the consciousness card. This to me is feeling so much like that. Be honest. You have to speak your truth. You have to be honest. It's the same thing. I have a transformation card. So there's a really beautiful opportunity to transform this energy within you. And so if there is a boundary, I do get an energy. If there is a boundary that needs to be laid, if you're physically going through this, like what Mimi's doing, if there's a physical boundary that needs to be made, this is my advice to you. It can come from a place with fire behind it. It can. Anger doesn't mean that you're not loving, right? Because everything is from source. It can't come from a place of like the full-on ego. Like you can't just like say something because you want to be catty, or you want to get revenge, or you want them to feel as shitty as they made you feel. We got to get away from that paradigm. But if it's coming from a place of love for yourself, of like, you know what, this relationship is just tearing me down. It's draining me. I can't take this anymore. I can't do this. It's hurting my soul. Then we need to be honest. And you might have to lay a boundary that is so effing uncomfortable. Me and Mimi had this conversation where I had this client friend that would project so much shit onto me. And I had to get to the point where I went, no more. If you email me one more time, I will have to send your emails to the police. It's gotten to that point. Because I tried to be nice and loving and kind and sweet and beautiful and this and that and all this stuff, patient to the end. The only thing that worked is me going, no, to the point where it almost felt to me, because I like being loving, especially to clients, it almost felt mean, but it still came from a place of like fierce love of like, no, I have to get you out of my life, because now you're not only are you taking yourself out, but now you're starting to take me out, and now you're threatening my family. So I had to push that away. So if it's getting to that point, you have to find that fierce fire. It's okay to find that fierce fire in your belly that goes, where are you not standing up for yourself? Because the bully paradigm also comes with the victim paradigm. And if you're pulling in bullies, maybe you're stuck in a little bit of like what Mimi was saying, trying to create harmony for everybody else, but that leaves you to being a victim of the situation, because what's happening is you're taking care of them and their feelings before, or how they're going to feel about what you do for yourself. Oh, they'll suffer if I give them that boundary. They're already suffering, but they're taking you down with you. Don't let them pull you down. You have to allow yourself to go through this experience. Don't feel victim by it, but find the power, find your inner resource to stand up, say your truth, and set the boundaries that you need in your life. Because when you say no to one paradigm, you say no to something. So not only are you saying no to that person, but you're saying no to that entire abuse paradigm of like, no, I'm finally going to stand up to this, not just walk away from it. I'm going to tell them no. What you say is you say no to the entire universe. You say no to the paradigm of like, no, I don't need that anymore. And then new relationships that are supportive, that are grounded, that are, you know, me and Mimi are like, we have this support. I don't expect her to be anybody else than she is. We can break apart for 3 months and not do GPS for no apparent real reason. We just were tired, but and then come back and be perfect, because we're not trying to change each other. We don't have these high expectations. We just allow each other to be, and that's supportive enough. And if you say no to those soul-sucking relationships, literally, you know, I'm doing the noise because that's what they're doing to you. These soul-sucking relationships, then you say yes to the ones that are supportive. And so that's
own damn roots, you know?
Yeah. Like, I want friends like that. I want friends like that. I don't want friends that are just sucking the shit out of me. Like, the S word keeps coming up, whatever. But that's you know, these are the relationships that I want in my life. And if those are the relationships you want in your life, then you got to say no to the ones that aren't. You've got to say no to the energy vampires. You've got to say no to the ones that are sucking your soul and have these high expectations of you and want you to be someone that you're not, and all these different things, or like make you feel guilty for not showing up from them every single second of the day. It's like, oh God, take care of yourself. I don't know what else to do, right? So I'm going on that rant, but I'm really wanting you to do this because this moon in Libra, especially with this Capricorn energy still there, is saying you have to set the new structure in your relationships. You have to set the new structure. And as soon as you have it, the kindred spirits can come in. Trust me, they can.
And they do. Take a stand. Sometimes you gotta take a stand. Oh, yeah.
I have that participation card in reverse. The only one that's holding you back from the ones that are balanced relationships are you showing up for those balanced relationships. You got to say no to the ones that aren't.
Woo!
Woo!
Kicking it off with a bang.
Hallelujah. That's what's up. You know, that's what's up right now. And
this Libra moon is taking us through those final degrees of Capricorn. So 27, 28, 29 degree Capricorn, you know, 29 degree. What is your structure? And it's like being the master of your structure. It's being the master of how you're showing up. And so this Libra moon is helping you do that. And then interestingly, oh, this is so interesting. Looking at that card, we have the sun shifting into Aquarius on Thursday afternoon. And I just want to mention, we'll do the Scorpio moon, but we have the sun shift, and then right after that, the moon is shifting into Scorpio. And I think you're going to hear some of the Scorpio. So I have not come up with the Aquarius topic. And when I say I have not come up with it, the universe has not yet told me what the topic for Aquarius is yet. I keep getting something about it's electric. So it's electric. But the thing that's coming up based on these cards that I have in front of me is your vibe attracts your tribe, and what we were just talking about. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Aquarius is so vibrational in nature. It is an air sign. You know, sometimes people get confused because Aqua, it is the water bearer. So to me, Aquarius actually reminds me of clouds because it's this airy energy, but it contains the water. But it has a very electrical quality as it is ruled by Uranus. It's also co-ruled by Saturn, but I really feel the Uranus vibe so strongly with Aquarius energy. And you know, as ruled by Aquarius, that energy has a tendency to do its own thing. And sometimes in this world, when you've done your own thing, you have that tendency to think, oh, nobody understands me. But I gotta tell you, your vibe attracts your tribe. You can be the weirdest person in the world, the weirdest. And there are other weird ones like you that will just like magnets come be attracted to your tribe. The thing is you've really got to be aware of what's your consciousness that's going on. I've got the projections card, so I think this goes really well with what we just talked about. If you're around these people that are no longer your tribe, who are putting their projections, you're not a good friend, you're not showing up, you're not this, that vibe sucks you down. It takes you to this place. Aquarius can be a very mental energy. And if your mental energy is stuck into this, stuck in those projections, stuck in all these things that you're not good enough, you're not raising your consciousness. You're going to find yourself sinking into the pit and staying with that tribe. However, there's an opportunity through your consciousness to rise. Here we have the flowering card. And it's funny because Nikki had the completion card in reverse. Here it is. Completion. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You've been like, phew. And I got to show you, hilariously, I've got the Exorcist card. So it's like, hey, freeing yourself and others from destructive impulses. Freeing yourself from others' destructive impulses. Freeing yourself from others' that's not it. Projections. I haven't gotten used to my system yet on the floor. But the Exorcist card, I also have, it's funny, I have the balance card from the angels, but you look there she has that sword, which is like, shoot, it's cutting. Finding your balance. This is the Libra card still. So it's like, what's the balance of you? What's the balance of being true to you in this energy? You have the opportunity to rise. Just keep remembering that. And, I think it's one of the best things that's out there, because that's what I looked at yesterday when all these energies kept coming in. I'm like, what's going on? And where am I at? And what is this showing me? And what it was showing me is like, you want this level of truth. You want this level of being true to yourself. It's going to be hard sometimes, but do it. And I feel like that's what it was showing me yesterday. Like, yeah, this is going to be hard. You can do this. So it was amazing. It was beautiful, even though it's hard. Nicole?
Yeah, I always see, this is interesting. So I always see Aquarius when I get my Aquarius cards. I'm like, where are we going, Aquarius? Like, what? Like, the energy is always like, I don't know, I'm doing my own thing. That's so Aquarius. I'm like, okay. Every time it's like this moon shifting in Aquarius, I'm like, I have no idea what this is. But so I'm going to take it one moment at a time with these. But I do 100% agree with you, Mimi, that I'm getting the vibe is your vibe is attracting your tribe. I do think that's the theme. So let's see where these cards take me. But I did, I had to pull another card because I wasn't getting the thing of this, and I got the wisdom of the oracle, and I got the mending card. So this is this is maybe mending relationships, but it's also mending these relationships with yourself, maybe mending the relationship with your inner child, mending but I really do feel like we're physically mending relationships, but as the reason why we have to mend the relationship, or the way we mend the relationship, right, it's with new thread. It's with, if you were mending relationships with the color blue, you have to mend the relationships with the color red now. It's a different color. It's a different flavor. You have to do it differently. So by speaking your truth and getting into that core of who you really are, then you can actually mend it. Because before, I think you were putting on Band-Aids with these kind of relationships because you were still trying to make it better. If you lose the hope that you're going to make it better, then you lose your attachment to that relationship, and then it starts to mend. You have to let go of the outcome of if this relationship is going to be with you again or not. Let it go. Just let it effing go. You know what I mean? So if you just let it go without any expectation, and you're not trying to fix them, and you're not trying to do anything, you're just showing up for yourself, what happens is you start mending an old core patterning within you, and then that will actually mend the relationship. Because if they are supposed to be in your life, if they really are supposed to be in your life, then they can respect those boundaries. They can respect the truth. And it might take a while for that to mend. There are times where I had to let people go, and then like 5 years later, they're like, I just want you to know, thank you so much for being courageous enough for saying that to me, because it took me a while and I was really angry with you for a long time, but finally, and it wasn't because I didn't say those things to them because I wanted them to change. I said them because I had to set the boundary for me, and they were coming from not a place of mean or cattiness or trying to make them hurt. I was saying them from a place of loving myself, of like, I can't do this. Our frequency is not working together, and we're just in different places, and I'm not judging you. You go off and you do what you need to do. You know, they might be in a drug. Like, I had a friend who was on a lot of drugs, and I was like, and I was starting my family, and I was like, I can't be around you. That's just different now. And I have to protect my sacred family. And so by being honest with them, they could unravel that. You know, they can really see where they were showing up. And I wasn't trying to do that. That wasn't my intention. I didn't care. I just knew it wasn't working for me, right? So that's where it's going. It's like, say these things, know as you say the truth, as the truth, because the truth might piss somebody off, but it has the potential to set everyone free. And that's all that you need to do without expectation. Just say the truth. And so I am having this, so I have the silence card upright, and I have the courage card in reverse. So this is saying, be quiet, be still, know your truth, find the truth that's really deep within you. And you don't, once it's in your truth, it doesn't even need courage, right? You don't even need courage to do it, because it just is the truth. Truth is like, I'm not going to apologize for myself. I'm just truth. I don't need courage to be myself, because I'm just truth. I just am what I am. It's just the isness, right? So we have to get to the isness, and you don't even have to worry about the courage. You don't have to worry about doing anything, because you're just living in truth. And then I have the conditioning in reverse, and that's the way that we unravel that conditioning of like, be a good girl. Don't say that. That might hurt somebody's feelings. It's not okay to be mean. Don't, all those like things. No, it's not okay to be mean for mean's sake. You know what I mean. I hope you know the difference between that. But it's like, we somehow in our conditioning have put truth and mean together. And it doesn't have to be that. Truth and mean are two very different things. So then you have to trust, and then you have to integrate. So trust your truth. Trust your heart. Even if it's excruciating, still trust it, because you know what? Sometimes the truth can be excruciating, but it's also gorgeous and colorful and beautiful and amazing and freeing and liberating. And then we integrate it. Then we integrate it within ourselves. But more than anything, everybody integrates it. So everybody involved will start to integrate the truth. And that's very healing. Then the slave can dance to freedom. Right? So I have the Slave Dances to Freedom card. And this is a card that's telling me that sometimes we keep ourselves in our own traps of what we think is like that morality card of like, I can't say that. Well, if it's your truth, what are you going to do? It is. It's okay. Okay.
It's okay.
Again, I don't know why that's coming in so vivid. Like, it's coming in like, we all don't want to be, all of us spiritual people, we don't want to be mean to each other. We don't want to be mean. We want to say that the angels, you know what I mean? The angels always carry swords. The angels, aren't fluff and stuff. The angels are warriors. And so it's like, the spiritual's like, oh, it's so good and everything's great. And it's like, is it though? It's okay to admit that when it's not okay. Is it though?
It's okay to admit it. I think when I think about like some of my situations, like I am resistant to burning down bridges, and I know some people are like, burn them down. You can build them again if you need to. I'm not a burn down the bridge person. And I do want to come from a place of kindness, but I also know that that's all I am at the core of me. I am an incredibly kind, loving person. And anything I say to you, unless, let's be fair, pushed to the brink, which can be, I will maintain that integrity. And so to me, it's also like, hey, don't get pushed to the place where you're ready to burn down that bridge. Say it before that. So you can stay in the kindness. And you know, your words, even from the kindest place, can still hurt somebody. You can say, hey, your hair looks red and looks gorgeous. And they'll be like, oh, you think my hair is red? Oh my God, like freak out. You know, like it's people's own stuff. That's that projection stuff. So it's only up to you to like stay in your light and, you know, be true in the now. And it, you know, I'm with you. It can be tough, but I do believe, like Nikki said too, I do believe it's always best for everybody when you are kindly compassionate and yet first kindly compassionate to yourself and making sure you're being true to you, because you cannot be true to anybody if you're not being true to you. It's just lies all over the place.
And you know what? Maybe nobody's going to question your kindness, because I mean, everybody who knows you knows where your heart is and know where your depth is. I actually like when I see that Mimi that comes and goes, I push to the edge and I'm about to burn shit down. I'm like, yeah, go for it. I like the torch. You know, I mean, honestly, to me, I see love as not like you know, what is love? Love is patient, love is kind, love is fierce, and love doesn't apologize for itself. And love is there. Love sometimes, like that Kali energy, it needs to burn it down. It needs to break it apart. It needs to ruffle a couple feathers. Because if we all didn't ruffle feathers, then we all stay in a paradigm that we don't want. Do we want to stay in the paradigm that we're seeing in the planet right now? We don't. So the enlightened warriors, the spiritual warriors, the heart warriors are the ones that we need to come out of our fear of just being kind and say the things that need to be said, because they need to be said, because we can't continue going on in the old paradigm anymore, because we know that the structure is not working. But it also doesn't call for an Armageddon where we need to burn the entire damn thing down. We need to appreciate the structures and all of the work that our ancestors in the past and the people and the forefathers and all these different things have created. But how can we evolutionize? And there we go. There's the Aquarius. How do we evolutionize what has already come that's not working? So it's not about, it might not be about burning the whole dang bridge down. It might be like, okay, so there's some foundational stuff that in this bridge isn't working. So we got to maybe pull it apart a bit. And so as that happens, then we can start putting the new structures in with the old structure and create new solid foundations to build upon. So maybe not everything needs to be burned down, but what does need to be looked at is the absolute core, brutal, honest, fierce, loving truth. And whatever that is for you, if it's coming from the heart, not from the wounding, not from the cattiness, then you'll be okay. You'll be fine. And if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You can always take responsibility, apologize, and clean it up. It's okay to make a mistake. Oh, I thought that was the truth, but now I realize I was just being blah. But I'm not getting that at all. Actually, I'm not getting that at all. Not only for you, Mimi, but I'm just not getting that. That's not what's going on.
You know what I thought of when you were saying that? Your vibe evolves your tribe.
Oh, I like that. Your vibe. Yes, that's what it is. Your vibe evolves the tribe. To evolve. As you evolve, then you give them permission to go, you know, I love you, but you were an asshole to me yesterday. Oh, shit. Yeah, I was in a bad mood and I took that out on you, didn't I? So we evolve each other because we make each other show up. My friend Jen the other day, I said something about my husband, and she goes, I'm going to tell you something. That sounded really controlling. And I was like, oh, it did, didn't it? Oh, yes, that's where it is. And there was my breakthrough. My breakthrough is because she called me controlling. Hallelujah. There's the truth, right? So yeah, I was stuck in something and she totally broke me free of it because she called me on my stuff. And I love it. Call me on my stuff. Cool, whatever. I'm not going to be mad at her. Oh, no, that was me totally. That did sound controlling. You know, it is what it is. That's okay. I'm human too.
Rant for this. Over. Complete. For now.
For now. You know, it wouldn't be a GPS without like a rant, would it?
it wouldn't be a GPS without a rant. I love the rants.
Well, they come from passion, and I feel them. And I'm also your biggest cheerleader too, and I want to see you.
I totally know. I know. That's why, like yesterday, I was like, Nikki, help.
Like, you want my help? Okay, I'm gonna tell you.
help me lay the sword. Yeah, no, it's good. It's very good. And this is what all the cards are saying. It's so perfect. So, and I pulled these cards before we were talking about any of this stuff. So it's perfect. So speaking of the sword of truth, we have the moon shifting into Scorpio also on Thursday. Like I said, an hour after, is it an hour? An hour after the sun shifts into Aquarius. I'm on the wrong week. I went back a week. Yeah. So it shifts at 1:24 p.m. sun into Aquarius, and then the moon shifts at 2:09 p.m. So half an hour, basically. So that's going to be a lot of shifting. So just be aware of that. And, I'll say this in the horoscope, but when, between the sun and the moon shifting, you may definitely feel a little wonky and out of it, and like, woo, Twilight Zone energy. But the cards that I get continue this energy. And it's so funny because as I'm looking at them, I hear Nikki say the same thing that I get from these cards with the sun and Scorpio. I have the aloneness, the hermit card. So going into the hermitdom, and then I have yet the sharing of the light. And this was my process. I went through this when we weren't doing GPS. I was not doing much in the outside world, and I was playing the role of the hermit and going within to seek my light, to see who I was, because this world, and I say this all the time, always has like, come do this thing, this needs your attention. And I was like, no, this is what's important. This needs my attention. And so this moon in Scorpio is kind of echoing this energy. You may have to take some quiet time to remember your vibe. What is your vibe? Where is it resonating at? So that you can then share this light energy. Go with the flow. This may, like I said, you may go down for a minute. You may get tired for a minute. You may need to take a nap. And if you can take a nap, honor that flow, honor that intuitive flow, because what it's taking you to is this inner voice card. It is asking you to hone your intuition, to listen in so you can connect to this light. And so with this moon in Scorpio, take the time, take that space that you may need. And I've also got some interesting cards, which this kind of came up too. I've got the wounded child. So it says light attributes, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. A lot of this stuff, a lot of those, the vibrations, these parts of ourselves that maybe don't want to burn the bridge or whatever, or don't want to let go, that can be the wounded child, the abandoned child, the rejected child within. And so it's recognizing that mending card that Nikki had, going in, using that energy to, attune to your child and help yourself in that way. Because I think so much of our light, I think so much of our intuition is connected to how much we're embracing that, the innocence of the child. We come in, so children come in so attuned and then kind of have it bullied out of us. And so here it is, like, it's asking you to go in, find that light again. So seek out. It may be this wounded energy, though. You may have to do some of that mending. You may have to do some healing. But we're reminded, look at this card. Oh, wow. Shiva, inner power, divine father. Divine father, thank you for creating my world with me. It's calling, yeah. Like, look at this. And the snake around his neck. I'm like, yes. And the light.
You don't have any idea what the Shiva thing. I just got to tell. I'll say it in a second.
I cannot wait. I'm looking so forward to it. So you've got, a lot of the wounded child too. It doesn't have that strong masculine energy that's needed. And so here it is. It's like your divine father, this energy has got your back. Take that time to get alone. Be in this like sacred initiation of yourself, of your light, with this big, this big shift, so that you can show up in the vibe that will evolve your tribe. Go ahead. I'm looking forward to what you have to say.
Well, it's so funny because I felt like that whole beginning, like all of that stuff was totally for you. And now I feel like it's shifted into me. Like, I'm like, hi guys, welcome to GPS. this is Nikki and Mimi processing their stuff online. Congratulations, you get to hang out with us.
Well, okay.
But that whatever, we're here. So Shiva has been coming. Shiva came in really strong about a week ago, to the point where Ryan, right behind this curtain, is my husband's altar. He bought this massive Shiva tapestry to put on his altar. So,
Wow.
and I'm painting a Shiva right now. I just drew him. And Ryan, oh, let's look at Ryan's drawing. He is drawing a Shiva as we speak. Ow. Sorry.
I don't know if you can see, but right behind me on my altar, I've got a Shiva right there too. Oh my God, that's amazing.
So this is my husband's drawing of Shiva looking at a bull, because he is a Taurus. He's standing up to his bull.
Wow.
You didn't know my husband was an artist, did you?
Yeah, you've showed me some of his stuff, but that one just has blown me away more than even the other. Wow.
Yeah, my husband is a very, very talented little artist, but he kind of keeps that quiet. But so so that is the Shiva stuff. I'm like, oh my God, of course Shiva came in for this, because these are the cards I have too. So the cards I have, so what I'm getting from this Scorpio moon stuff, of course it's coming up in Scorpio moon. I have Scorpio moon. I also have the wounded child. So this is the wounded child in the past. So this is someone who's really scared. What I'm getting from this is kind of scared of the unknown. This is someone who doesn't really trust. There is a child going on this new adventure, but all they see is color. You can't really see what's forming. So you might have a lot of hope and optimism for your future, but you're not really being able to see that. So the wounded child comes in and wants to doubt your safety. The wounded child really, really holds on to the fear of safety, of not being safe. That's like the most, core wounding, is the abandonment and not feeling safe, not feeling provided for, not being fed, not being taken care of, not getting attention, not getting love, especially as the baby was born, and all this kind of separation from the womb. They're showing me like a separation from the womb. So as we separated from the womb, if we didn't get enough love, maybe the hospital took you away and put you into a nursery for too long and you didn't get to bond at that moment. There's some safety issues is what I'm feeling that's coming up. And so the way that safety likes to kind of play itself out is putting you into like an illusion. So we can go into illusions of things of like making things more fantastic or being overly optimistic. I know that sounds kind of funny, but overly optimistic to me is like getting yourself into a fantasy. Like, I would be happy if I found that man, or if I was with that guy or that woman. Or it could be like, I will be happy when I make the $1 million, or I am going to make $1 million. It's just going to appear on my front door tomorrow, and then da 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 da. But is that reality? There's a difference between being optimistic and being just kind of silly, So it's getting to the place, how do we deal with this? The aloneness card. So to go really deep within, and see where the truth is, where you're actually being guided towards, and not just not reacting to the lack of abundance, not reacting to the lack of safety, not reacting to the lack of support that you may feel you are not getting. So now I'm actually talking not just to Mimi, but I'm actually talking to the bully paradigm, because those people who want our attention or want our affection or want our support are just looking for it from other people and not from themselves. And we have to look for the support right here. That I have this one that said something with the ancestors. And it's like, that card's like, we've never left you. You're not alone. And that aloneness card talks about that. There's difference between loneliness and aloneness. And loneliness is when we feel alone, like nobody's there to help us. But aloneness is when we start to get quiet, listen to the voice, and realize we're never alone. You have like 87 voices in your head. How do you think you're alone? They're always talking to you. You're obviously not alone. Some of them have terrible advice. But if you get really quiet, and I've had this with enlightenment intensive and things like that, you hear that voice. You hear that still silent voice. You hear that wise guru that lives within you. You listen. You hear the God voice within. Blasphemy, right? Oh my God, you have God voice within? You have God in you. Congratulations, I do too. Nice to meet you. And that's what we've got to find. So we're not following the wound, but we're actually following that divine, that Shiva, that divine father. No matter what your father looked like to you on this planet, there is a divine father. It's the truth. And he will always be there, and he will always catch you. Thank you. I know. I hear you. They're talking to me right now. And then that's when you will find the true abundance. And that's when you'll find the completion of this issue.
This week that we've had.
Exactly. Lots of completion this week. And then some abundance. And it's coming through with feeling safe. And it's feeling of a masculine energy. I also pulled a card out. I pulled a card from the wisdom of the oracle, and I have the blessed card in reverse, and I do want to read this to you because I also think this is how we need to deal with this energy. 22. Okay. Humility is called for you now, as grace is an unearned gift. So nothing that you're going to do is going to make you earn this, but nothing you're not going to do is going to make you unearn it. Does that make sense? You didn't gain this by your own desires or actions. To be who you need to be, you can no longer do what you did. In a way, you have to hit rock bottom. And what is required now is nothing less than total surrender. So there's not much you can do to be blessed. You just have to accept that you are, and you always will be. And it doesn't mean anything that you did in the past makes you any less worthy of being blessed, or anybody who hasn't been there in the past makes you not blessed. We just have to surrender that we don't understand, and that there's nothing you can do or say or anything. You just have to trust and sink into the hands. The whole world's in his hands, and you have to sink and surrender into that.
Aw, I love that.
Shiva, but yay. Oh, I got to show my husband's painting.
God, it's amazing. I love it. Wow, I'm impressed. Shiva all over the place right now. So, my favorite snake is named Shiva too. Anyways, so it's really interesting too to me that we're seeing these Shiva energies coming forth within this. The inauguration, not the election, I kept calling it the election. The inauguration is happening on the 20th. So these energies that we just spoke of are going to be the energies for this inauguration. The moon, or the sun in Aquarius, and the moon in Scorpio. We're going to come back to that, and we're going to
Why don't we just do that now?
We're going to do that. Okay. Cards. Here are those cards. Okay. Well, then.
I almost feel like that was the reading for it.
I know. Well, here's what I want to show you about this inauguration energy. The card that I have, and I think this is what we need to focus on. I've got the We Are the World card. And you look at this card, like it's all these colors, it's this light surrounding the world. And sometimes when I'm having like a tough day or I'm afraid, I kind of imagine not this card, but like something like this with the angels surrounding us. And I think it's important to hold this energy. We've got some good cards.
We do have some good cards. I've got some good cards too.
I've got the Empress, the creativity card. This is Divine Mother. So we had Shiva, Divine Father, Divine Mother energy here. I've got the Lovers. And my feeling is between these energies, we've got to let love rule. And it's interesting because this is probably good timing because I think this will work very well with what I'm going to say with Sagittarius. This isn't going to be about approaching things from a perspective of fake it till you make it. I hate that perspective. I'm not about fake. Do not be fake. Don't be like, everything's good and, everything's crashing around you. Be real about what's really happening, but keep realigning your focus on love. Love within yourself and then love in your community. take that perspective of the Divine Mother, which, like we've been saying, sometimes the Divine Mother is also that Kali Ma energy. Sometimes that needs to come through. However, I really do believe that we are creators, and we are constantly creating our outcomes by the vibration that we're giving off. This is happening during Aquarius. So it's like, be conscious of what you are creating. Are you creating from a place of we are the world for the highest good of everybody? Are you creating from a place of the love, loving your neighbor as yourself, loving yourself as your neighbor, love, finding that energy? Or are you taking it from, a total, other place? Are you in the control paradigm that you like, I know best? I think it's going to be an interesting 4 years. However, I do think it's asking us to band together and stop being at each other's throats. Unfriend me if you voted for this person. If you have any kind thoughts about Donald Trump, I do not want to be your friend. Here's how I take this perspective. Do I personally like Donald Trump? No, I do not resonate with him. However, I see light in him. I do. Sorry. I see light in him. I see light in everybody. And my feeling is that the hate that's being directed towards him, and I know many people feel this way, is not serving our highest interest as the world. It is not serving the light on this world. That hate that we're directing is just going to drive his darkness. And it's that Martin Luther King Jr. quote, you cannot drive out hate with hate. Mm-hmm. Only love can drive out that darkness. So the universe is asking us, can you show love to this energy? To me, it's like directing love to your surgeon. If you're going to have surgery, you don't want to be directing fear, like, is he going to do a good job? I don't really know if he's competent. You want to direct the energy. This guy knows what he's doing. He's in control. And if your intuition's like, to get another surgeon, of course, get another surgeon. That's totally different topic. But direct love. This person is having an effect on our lives, but we are having an effect on him. So it's up to you what kind of effect you're going to bring. And I got the moment-to-moment card. I do think it's going to be up and down, but watch it. Watch what happens when you're able to direct some kind of love and light. And that may be the hardest thing to find. And I'm not saying avoid the things that you don't like, but keep finding that love and light, because we are in this together. And you're more powerful than you realize. That being said, this is a funny card. We talked about this one beforehand. I have the dilettante card. So the dilettantes is like delights in the arts without having to be a professional. Alert you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. The shadow attribute, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. I think this represents the candidate to many extents. And I also want to send him light so that he can make the best possible choices for all of us. I personally, I think he's fake it till you make it. I think he's like, I've got this figured out. And I think inside there's like,
he has no idea.
Oh shit. If he's gonna be leading us, let's not feed the shadow by being like, you shouldn't be there, blah, 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 whatever, no matter what you think. What's done is done right now. This is what it's gonna be. So how do we make this better? How do we feed into the light in this energy? It's up to us. And speaking of that, spirit animal from the Keepers of the Light. So it's, thank you, Animal Kingdom, for blessing my path with love. To me, this is just, I don't know what it really is. I don't know. Tuning into your own animal instincts. Animals don't overthink the processes unless they become, really domesticated and are in it. They're really in the moment, but they're not in the thoughts like, this is good, this is bad. They're in the moment and they're like, we're going to deal with this as this comes. So I think that's the kind of thing, the moment to moment. We're in this, we're going to deal with it as it comes, but keep feeding into the we are the world. Keep feeding into the light. And if you're able to do that, then do that. If you're not, if you just see him and see red, then don't think about him. Don't feed into the shit. There's plenty of shit. And I gotta say, God, this may be a little political rant. Like, everybody's like, oh, the pee thing, he likes to get peed on. Really? I don't care if he likes to get peed on or not. That, to me, is not going to make him a good president or not. People have their kinky fetishes. Like, I just don't care. Like, don't get caught up in those things. Get caught up about what you're passionate in and not the pee.
I had no idea. I had not heard that. That
Oh
is like,
yeah, apparently golden showers is a thing that he likes, allegedly. And he's like, I don't like being peed on. Like, it's like, oh my God, we're directing all this time to pee. Like, let's talk about things that are important. I just don't care. Like, I think more people than admit that actually probably like that thing. And I say that because I have known plenty of people who have talked about it who you would not think would like that. So like, it's just one of those things. Like, we all pee. Some people like it on them. Whatever.
I'm pregnant and I kind of have to pee right now too. So TMI. Okay, so you know, honestly, and I also think that spirit animal card is going with this card that I have. It's called Blue Mother, Yellow Mountain, Gibbous Moon. Whatever, Gibbous Moon? I don't know. And what this card says, and basically, I mean, I'm reading it and it says that she's traveling upon the sacred earth. The echo of ancient prayers sound forth from the holy yellow mountains. The moon shall soon be full, filling the darkness with light. So a lot of what I'm understanding too is what the spirit animal thing is telling me is they're going, silly humans. You're not seeing it all yet. You don't know the higher. We as people don't know everything that's going on. We don't know the grand spectrum of what's happening and why he got this. So let's pull it all the way back. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning of this broadcast about an hour ago. And let's see that first card that Mimi pulled, the bully. The bully is up for all of us. The bully is up in our own lives. Maybe the bully is up for us and where we bullied somebody because we felt powerless. The bully comes out of powerlessness. And so the reason why somebody like Donald Trump got elected is because the country felt powerless. And so we're looking for it in these interesting ways. And it's not about being mad at the bully. It's looking at the paradigm of the bully. What created this? Why do we feel so powerless in our life? And where can we bring that into where can we bring the shadow to the light? So let's go into what the ones I have as him coming forth. In the past position, I have the isolation card. Again, the woundedness. All of our old woundings got triggered in this election. A lot of us had some. I was okay, but I ended up helping a lot of people through their wounds. As this happens, we can continue to protest against it. But maybe there is a more sacred, I want to say sacred, a sacred way of doing it instead of just protesting. What are we protesting? Let's protest our own powerlessness. Let's protest our own bully. By what? Having understanding, by having forgiveness, by having a sense of, okay, so I see the paradigm. I see the bigger picture here. What I see is we need to deal with bullying energy. You know, a lot of the times, if you look back in our history, the U.S. bullied people to believe what we believed, to adopt our systems because we believed them to be better. And we got ourselves in these crazy wars that we didn't even need to be. Right? So that's because we wanted to bully people in believing what we want to believe. So where do we do that on our own level? Where do we want everybody to believe, to validate our opinion, to believe what we believe? Because then, and if our point is valid, then we are validated. There's something part of that. But that, you don't even need to be validated for you to be valid. Right? So let's get us into a more clearer mindset and realize that there is some new life coming. There is some change coming with this. And it's not a bad change. It's us all coming out of the shadows and maybe taking a little bit more self-responsibility for our own empowerment. That giving away to the government every single time we have an issue, we blame the government, we blame them, we blame them for not having health insurance. And yes, it's freaking expensive as hell. But what other ways? How can we get creative? How can we take our power back? And as you find that you can take your own power back, that you don't need the bullies to try to fight your power for you, that you have it already right here in this beautiful little encapsulated body of yours, then the governments will change. Then the presidents will change. And to be honest with you, you can like him, you can hate him, you can think he's a villain. I heard Carolyn Miss say that he was possessed by a demon. I'm like, you know what? He's a human, as we all are. He might be one you don't agree with, but he still had enough power to get it. You know, he still had something that people saw that we needed all as a collective to deal with. And to be honest with you, he's a human, and so are you. And so we have to deal with our humanness, and we have to show up in the best way that we can and come out of our own shadows and take our own empowerment. Because the only way to get your power back from situations that you can't change is to find the truth, and the truth was always here. That's your power of choice. Your biggest power of choice is the way that we respond, the way that we react, and the way that we step into our own leadership capabilities, not as a bully, but with love and with connection. And I love the Divine Mother in this one, because we're coming out of the patriarch and having to find a connected, or the goddess paradigm, or the Divine Mother paradigm, which is more of we're all connected. If you kill the planet, we all die, you guys. Come on, you know, like, let's kind of wake up. And so as we maybe have to look and have this big patriarch, this powerful old paradigm patriarch, that's the archetype Donald Trump is he is the old system. We have to put him out to see, are we done with this now? So we can finally have maybe a female leading. And I'll be honest with you, and you might hate me for saying this, I didn't think Hillary was the right one. It just was what it was. She was too masculine. We're having a woman in, we have a dude in woman's clothing. We need someone actually feminine.
Let's really bring on the feminine.
Let's really bring on the feminine. If we're going to have a feminine leader, let's have a feminine leader. Because the wisdom that woman needs to bring needs to be high, and she needs to be in integrity. And maybe this one wasn't the one to represent us as our part of our species. We needed someone who was going to be connected to the heart, in integrity, and in her truth. And I don't know if she was. That's my truth. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. I've seen some other beautiful, powerful women leaders that I'm like, ooh, maybe her. That would do much better. And I think it's coming. So just be patient. It's not all bad. It's just be patient with the process.
I think at the same time, like, as Nikki just said that, like, I think the feminine's coming. Like, how'd you feel inside when you said that? And there's a part of me like, could a feminine, soft person like me, could they do it? Yep. But even the part I'm still questioning it. I'm like, that part that's still questioning it, like, I want that to be like, yes, immediately, not even needing the question, And so it's still coming out, even in us that are conscious. We still have to, like, work with this energy.
But Mimi, you are the collective, right? So there was a doubt in you still. So maybe on the collective scale, the reason why the woman didn't get in, on the collective scale, the divine feminine still questions itself. That's why you have the Lover's card. The woman has to see itself as the pure. The woman has to see it as her vulnerability, her compassion being as powerful as force. Yeah. And so until we as women can really embrace our own power of our own femininity and not try to be a man, not try to find our empowerment through the masculine, but through balance, but through finding our own wisdom through our vulnerability, through, I'm carrying a baby right now. This is something a man will never be able to do. Maybe our science can make something weird happen, but really nature has made it so that we were part of the species that needs to carry and create the life. We are creators, and that is something that is our divine power. And to be honest with you, that's a strength that a man won't be able to feel, is to create something from themselves and be the womb. And we don't understand that wisdom yet. And we don't trust that that's good enough yet as a feminine species. But it is. Our vulnerability, our creation is. And that, when we start to respect that wisdom again, we'll be able to respect Gaia again. We'll be able to respect the earth again. And that's when the real healing will come, is when we really realize we have to get away from force and back to love.
And there it is. Excellent. So then we're finishing up with the moon shifting into Sagittarius, and that is happening on Sunday. So sun in Aquarius, moon in Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius and Aquarius together can get very innovative and mental. I've definitely got some of that. I've got the no thingness card, and I've got the beyond illusion. So to me, this energy is like, wow, what are you going to create in this energy? Once you get past like these illusions, like, I don't know how to make that. It's like, oh, there's a way. If there's a will, there's a way in this energy. Don't fight yourself in this process. I don't know what's going to be coming through, but it's like, it's this feeling of this engineering. So whether it's divine engineering, like on this energetic level of like doing something with your DNA, because I'm getting that picture in my head of DNA, or whether it is something physical, don't fight yourself. Allow this inner genius to come forward. Expand your horizons, expand your possibilities, but don't look outside for the answers. I've got the turning in card. Look inside yourself. You may be like, well, I want to see how this person did this person did this. This is like a channeling energy, and it wants to come through, and it's got some major gifts for you if you can attune to this energy. And maybe this is why this is maybe why I have the DNA picture in my head, because I have the shape-shifting card. So it may really be on some kind of physical level that you're going through some kind of change in this energy. Again, whether you're conscious of it or not, the shapeshifter is like skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness. Consciousness has come up a lot. Ability to see the potential in everything. The shadow attribute, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. My feeling is like, just whatever is going on, let this process happen. Get beyond the illusions of like, that can happen, that can't happen. My feeling is there's some changes on some major levels for you. I know that's not very clear, but that's the message. And then from the Keepers of the Light, I've got live your joy. Thank you, angels, for supporting me as I follow my joy. This may be part of it. It may be the simple shift of going from looking at the shit to I'm gonna find how this is working out for me. I'm going to see how I can use whatever this situation is to keep propelling me further into my purpose, into my service, into why I'm here. So keep reminding yourself of the joy. Keep reminding yourself of the good. Keep seeking that energy as part of this shape-shifting and part of getting beyond the illusion.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here's the totality card, moving from one part of ourselves to the next. And seeing it, like, I'm getting this like receptivity card that kind of looks like a little bit of this DNA kind of thing. I also feel like, and then I have the new vision. So it's a rebirth of sorts. So I feel like it's going to be working through, and it might be subtle. It might not be like a catalyst or something. Like, you might not be like, have some sort of external thing. You might just be up all night going, I know I have those nights where I'm like, oh, something's happening. Oh, I feel it. My whole body. Okay. Everything's, so it might just us like absorbing a new like vibration on the planet, might kind of thing coming through. But one card that really stood out, and again, I got the Blue Mother Yellow Mountain card, but I also got another one, and I want to talk about this one. Grandmother of Love, Granddaughter of Life. So this is really freaking fascinating with that whole thing of like the DNA and all of this. Now, who's wiser? Is the ancient old, the tradition, the old? Is that more wise, or is the innocent child? And I want to say it's both. We need the wisdom of the old. We need the wisdom of the ancients because they have the experience and they know what works and what doesn't. They can guide us in that same way that they know, like, well, that one didn't work and that one did. We tried it, you know? And we still need the beautiful innocence of trying something new. We need to have the master of the fool, the master of being willing to make a mistake, being willing to be a beginner, be willing to know new things. And that the ancient grandmother can bring the wisdom of experience, and the child can bring the wisdom of trying it again and trying it again and trying it again and trying it again. And both of them together make us, we have to sit right in the middle with the child in one ear and the grandmother, the ancients, in the other, telling us, keep moving forward with wisdom and experience. Keep making mistakes and be the beginner and learn. And then trust the people who've walked this planet before you, right? But we have to sink into both. It's both. We need the structure of the old, and we need the new children, the indigos, the rainbow children, all these different beings that are coming in that are going, we're ushering in the new, and the baby boomers are going, oh dear God, what the hell are the millennials doing? And they're like, you'll see. But the millennials need to learn the humility of listening to not just themselves, but listening to the beauty and the wisdom of structure. And it takes both. And that is when we can have the rebirth of ourselves, as we live on both worlds. And that is who we need to rebirth in ourselves, is we are the master and we are the beginner, and they are one and the same. And when we start to realize that, that's when we can birth a new humanity, but more importantly, we can birth our new self. Because first it takes us, and then we create the community, but it takes the individual. We are one individual, and we are one. We are connected. We are one, and we are one. So work on yourself, and then embrace the ones that are with you on that. And then we walk forward, and we create new humanity.
Excellent. I love it. That's such a perfect way to end. I think it's amazing.
Isn't that so sad? We are one, and then Aquarius, we are one.
Yeah, we are one, and we are one. It's perfect. It's so perfect, and it's so sad too, because, and it's so Aquarius because it is the old knowledge, but yet Sagittarius is always seeking new information, and these children come in with these new vibrations, this new information. There's wisdom in everything. Everything is your teacher if you allow it to be. And this is like, here's this opportunity, and it's like, are you ready to shapeshift? Are you ready to let go of those little paradigms within yourself? Amazing things are happening. We're on the leading edge.
Well, we're on the edge of the unknown. You have that nothingness card. We are at a place that we've never been before. Are we going to destroy ourselves, or are we going to bloom? And those cards say we're blossoming. So at the end of the day, we are lighting our own path now, as an individual and as a collective. So what are you going to create? What are you going to create? What are you going to listen to? What are you going to listen to? You need to listen to your ancient wisdom, and you need to listen to your inner child, because they both are super, super, super wise. I had a big download on wisdom last night, actually.
Awesome. So speaking of all this stuff, Nikki and I are putting up our GPS reading on sale again for this next month. I don't know how long we're going to leave it, but it's going to be on the Gaia Blooming website. So it's $150 for an hour with the both of us. It's your personal GPS. We can go through your chart, answer any questions that you may have. And, if you like this, then you'd like that. We're the dynamic duo. We can cover a massive massive amount of space, a massive
An
amount.
hour, as you could tell. I was like, oh, there's not a lot of stuff this week, so it's gonna be quick.
It's so fast and short, and I'm like, wow.
No, we can talk. You put two Gemini risings in a room together. It's like, oh God. My husband's like, peace. See ya.
Absolutely. So, if you want that, that's going to be up on the Gaia Living website, and or you can message one of us, and we can get that set up. But it's always a really fun thing. So if you've got some burning questions or need some support on your path, $150. You get a lot.
Yeah, and you get goofy us together. So.
And we can record it for you as well. So there's that as well.
Yeah. It's always fun. Everybody always has a lot of fun with them. And you get a lot of information. You just get massive amounts of information.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it for me. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
We're done. Complete.
Is there any more to say? Like, wow, we just freaking covered the universe. Do we want to?
Left, I think. Yep, we are the world. It's all good.
Oh, when Nikki stops talking, that means, wow, that's a good day. You put that on the record. Right? All right, you guys, we love you all. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for viewing us live too, you guys who've been chilling with us. I hope the message finds you well, and you can kind of understand. I mean, we're deeply passionate and we're opinionated, but at the end of the day, it comes from a place of love. So sometimes it comes in tough, sometimes it comes in loving. But either way, it's what needs to be said, I guess.
Either way, it's always silly when it comes to the two of us. There's always that level.
It is a bit silly. Oh, God. All right, you guys. Maybe you close this out.
I can't. You have to.
Oh, yeah, I close this out. All right, you guys. We will see you next time. Namaste.
Namaste.